2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. For those of you just joining us, which is everyone watching, both of you, this is the first occasional video Radcast. I know it's been a while. Hello, Jeff Rad. The first and probably only order of business for the day is the answer to last episode's listener question, listener challenge, listener feedback, whatever. So, first off, in keeping with our lax data retention policy, all that, yeah, the answer to last episode's question, I don't have it. I don't know it. I don't think I even wrote it down. So, there's that. But we're going to figure it out together. Here we go. Alright. Fun with feedback. Redux. So this is how I see the task at hand. We have a sample in question. We need to determine the sample's pitch as expressed as a frequency, as a number. That's task 1, I guess. We need to figure out how length of a tube relates to its resonant pitch, whatever that means. We need to figure that out too. And then we need to put these two numbers together and figure out what is the length of the tube for our sample pitch. And then we celebrate. Woo! Okay. Sorry for the shitty keystone adjustment, but we're at a computer. We're going to pull up our clip. So we go to Okay, we go to occasionalradcast.blogspot.com. We pull up Occasional Radcast 3. Boom, boom. That's the wrong page. There it is. Okay, we download the clip, and that brings us to... Now, I've already done that. As Julia Child would say, we've prepared this ahead of time. Come on, man. There we go. Dropped it into Audacity, which is a real handy sound editing program, a lot like Cool Edit used to be, or Audition, but I think there's a Windows version. This is the Linux version. I've got it looped right now on just a portion of that sample. I did listen through the tape, and yeah, I claim to know the frequency and which order of harmonic we're looking for. I am no longer so confident in those numbers, so we're going to start from scratch. This is, let me turn the radio up, the amp up here. That's what that is. Alright, so we're going to determine the pitch. We got a couple ways we can do it that I see. We could determine pitch, match the pitch to the ear, with maybe a musical instrument, keyboard, piano, guitar. That's all I got. We could match the pitch with a signal generator, something where you can turn a knob, and again, match it by ear. We could scope it and just look on the screen, count divisions that the waveform takes, and then we'd know the milliseconds between peaks. Or we could just measure it with a counter, if we had a counter that would trigger on it. Alright. We could try it with a guitar. That was this D, which is 146 hertz. That could be a good guess. Okay, so we tried it with a guitar, and we got about 146 hertz, or so. We could match the pitch by ear with a signal generator. We could also jump down and scope and measure, put it into an oscilloscope, and then visually look at how many divisions the signal takes up. Those two are kind of related, so let's tackle those together. Party time! Okay, so we've got our signal coming out of the computer, out to the headphone jack. It gets split. One channel is going to this amp, which we can turn up and down at will. The other channel is, oh, we don't need that yet. Signal generator. Okay, let's back up and take a look at our setup there. So we've got, this is a signal generator that puts out just an adjustable frequency. Right now we've got it set to, each unit on the dial is 100 hertz, so we can sweep that, and that's running to this blown amplifier, sorry guys, to this speaker. So if we turn this guy up and try to match it by ear, bum, 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 bum. That sounds pretty good to me. So, on 100 hertz per unit, the dial seems to be a little under 140 hertz, maybe. Okay, so that's one option. Blam. So that tells us, let's see, we haven't moved the dial. So, yeah, that looks like maybe 135, 140 hertz. Now, simultaneously, we have that signal generator output patched into our scope on channel 2. We've got this sample bit coming into channel 1. So, I've already got this cooking. Now, let's just look at just our signal in question. So that's what it looks like. And normally we should be able to see a nice sine wave, except that it's clipping too. That's in the sound file itself. That's what you hear, is that clippiness becoming a square wave. So we can scroll over here and see, I don't know if I can focus, but take my word for it, time division set to 1 millisecond per division. We can see from this point to this point happens to be 7 divisions, so this takes 7 milliseconds. We could also, since we have our signal generator input patched in here, we could just visually compare and see when we're locked on, so to speak. So right now I've got it triggered on channel 1, which is our sample. So that's why this blue square wave is locked on. If we flip the trigger to channel 2, then our sine wave gets locked on. And as we adjust the frequency, we can see that we can get a pretty good match. Now it wanders a little bit, but we can see that yeah, we're pretty close. As far as the spacing on center here versus here, they move relative to each other, they're slipping out of phase, but they're about the same distance. So actually, this is probably closer to the precise spot on the dial that syncs up with our signal, for what it's worth. So, that tells us a couple things, nothing useful yet, because the option that I like best is just to use a counter. I got a couple meters here, both of them have frequencies, sorry they kicked off already. BK Precision, which is alright, I got it used on eBay I think for 40, 60 bucks, something like that. It's alright, I'm not real happy with the refresh rate, so it's on AC volts right now, let's kick it onto frequency, and the Fluke, which is an old Fluke 111 that I have, it's I think it was about a $100 meter when it was new, and it has served me well for a long time. Might be in the market to get a new one, something a little more upmarket. Let's see, what was I going to do over here? Oh, nothing, I guess. Okay, so let's see how we can get both of those in frame here. So we can see the Fluke is refreshing pretty quick. Comes on to 139.2, 139.3, 139.5. The BK Precision, and this is a good example of measurement confidence. You can see it's in the same ballpark, but it's coming on to about 140, then it's dropping down to 125. And they're both seeing the same signal. They're both patched in. Signal comes into channel 1, splits off, and goes to both meters. So they're both seeing exactly the same, well, almost exactly the same signal. But look at how clean the fluke is. Pop, locking on, dropping, pop, locking on, pop, dropping. And the BK precision, you can't quite tell when it's doing what and when it's right and when it's not. So I'm going to go with that number. I like it. Probably the most precise number would be if we took a shorter sample that didn't move like this, which actually we can do on our PC. Just trying to take a shorter loop here right in the middle. So now we've got some jitter, but we've got a persistent image that we can play with. And let's take a look. So actually, sorry about the reflection there. Hey, hi world. Okay, so we, as far as I can tell, are really close to the wave shoulder, lining up with this radical division. Go. That's 7 and a bit over 7. So let's, I'm sorry you can't focus, but I can. Let's call that 7.2. Let's do that. Okay. Now we retreat to do the math. Okay, so we're back. So we're still trying to determine pitch. We could amp, mass, pit, guitar. 146. So that's what we think we got there based on it being a D. Here we saw a little bit less than 140 hertz. I'm not comfortable with any more precision than that from the dial, but that's about what we saw there. We scoped and measured, and we saw that the period equaled about 7 milliseconds. Actually, no, it was about 7.2 milliseconds. Can you read that? I barely can, but we'll remember. I'm sure we'll remember. And then we could measure with a counter. We have the BK and the fluke. The BK said anywhere from 125 to 140 hertz. The fluke seemed to pretty consistently say about 139.2 to 139.6. So what do we trust? I guess we were going to do the math on this. Okay, so we're back and we're trying to do our math and we don't know what's going on. So, went back to Everest. Found some of this stuff that didn't quite speak to the issue at hand. So I thought, I know that there are this many cycles. That's what we're trying to figure out in 1 second. There's one cycle in 0.0072 seconds. And so, not being that good at math, I took a stab in the dark and I said, what if we took 1 divided by 0.0072? I don't know if you can read that. Yeah, there you go. And, we come out with, hey, that's a pretty good number, 138.88. So, let us amend this guy and say we don't care about the period anymore. Equals 138.8? Question mark. All right. So we've got a couple numbers here. 138, 140, 146. We don't know reason to do that. So, and that's, we'll call it 139. That seems like what it's trying to tell us. So, yeah, we're pretty... Okay, just to move the story along, I think we've got our frequency, 139 hertz. Now let's see what we do with it.